Good morning, and welcome to Winnipeg. Okay, now we did have a sunrise this morning, but I didn't actually see it happen. All I know is we did have it, and I'm pretty sure we can see it happen. So maybe what I should do is just quickly dub that in right now and get it over with, and I promise I won't make it last more than 10 seconds. Now, I am afraid that I'm going to have to break my promise here, and this is why. I did not realize that this was kind of an interesting sunrise, in that the same two people that we saw the other day were in it again today. And I think what's happening is they're not going to work or anything. They're not really going anywhere. They're just sort of out for a walk. Well, I guess that's going somewhere, isn't it? Because what happens is they cross the bridge, the pedestrian overpass, and they just turn around and go back again. And I think what they're doing is they're timing their walk, as to when the sun comes up. And they're probably thinking to themselves, well, let's see if we can cross the bridge just as the sun comes up. Well, maybe not. But that's the kind of thing I would have done. Okay. Minus 21.9 Celsius. Now we got the weather done. Okay. I did come back to the model table last night, and I spent a fair amount of time here, actually, going through step 19 to make sure I had all the little pieces. And I had quite a few of them, but some of them I had to get yet. Like, apparently we're going to be needing these, and they're going to be needing to be painted. The inside of the splinter rail is going to have to be painted. Let's see, is that going to stay in focus for you there? Not really. Oh, by the way, for you camera buffs, I do not have my camera set on continuous autofocus. It does have that feature. In other words, if I was to take the manual and move it in really close, it would automatically focus, very, very accurately, very, very finely, you might say, on those lines, and you'd see it quite sharp. But I don't. I right now my focusing point is about where my hand is, maybe a little further back. I can't remember. It's somewhere right around here, in this distance. You're getting more information than you need, right? Okay, that's the way I do it. I don't use the continuous autofocus. The reason being is I don't like that hunting and seeking thing that autofocus has. And when I'm using the macro lens, I use the autofocus, but occasionally there's a little aspect of the tiny little area that I'm trying to video that I want just, excuse me, I'm having trouble with my voice today. I don't know, maybe I should reshoot this. No, it is what it is. Okay, so anyway, enough about focusing here. I got, like I say, all of the pieces needed now for step 19, but some of them are going to have to be painted. Oh, and I started to talk about this and I got sidetracked. Boy, am I ever getting bad at that? Okay, so the outside has to be painted to 19, like around the outside of the splinter rail and also the inside. And then I want to mask the inside again because that worked really, really well. Now, I know you can't see it. Maybe I'll superimpose a picture that shows that the I was going to call it the floor, but it would be the deck of this part is actually textured. At first I thought it was the way it came out of the mold, but I'm realizing now that it was that they had intentionally wanted it to look a little different, and it's going to be going where it's actually going to be going has nothing to do with any of the other decks. It's almost like a little balcony thing that plugs into the sides. Oh, speaking of plugging in, we now have our part fastened down so that if I wanted to, I could literally turn it upside down. Okay? And it's not going to fall off. And what I did was, you'll notice that there's a screw right here. And I realized, I was trying to think of how can I fasten this down? Because when I want to remove the screw when I want to get it off to put it onto the main deck, as I mentioned yesterday, I can't put a screw in there, and that's the easiest way to do it. And then I realized, well, one of the last things we do, I think it's on the very last step, is we drop the turrets down, like I mentioned this one here. Okay. Well, we also drop down the 5-inch gun turrets. That's the last thing we do. So what I did was I drilled a hole right on the base of the turret, put a screw through. Then when I remove the screw, and it's just basically finger tight. It's not in there really hard at all. It's just enough to keep the thing from sliding around. And then you take the screw out, put the turret on, it covers up the little hole. Nobody knows. I think that's going to work out really good. I think we're ready to. I did put my spray booth back up on the end of the table there last night, and yeah, we're ready to spray here. So I hope I can find enough paint that's going to be not congealed, if you know what I mean, or lumpy. I should really make a trip to the hobby store and get some new paint. Although why? If I can make the old stuff work, right? I know some people talk about straining the paint or filtering the paint. I tried that once, and I found that it just didn't seem to want to work out too good. Now maybe I was doing it wrong, but anyway, let's recompose here and get the day started. Okay, I am slowly, very slowly, getting myself set up here. It's not like I'm trying to put this off or anything, it's just that for some reason it's going slowly. Now, a few moments ago, well, I guess about an hour ago, I was looking at the manual and I was just thinking, I want to make sure, do I have absolutely everything? Because I don't want to have to, set up again just for, some silly little part. And then I noticed a silly little part, K7. And I'm thinking, well, there is no place to plug a K7 right in the middle of this, the way it shows. And then I realized it wasn't talking about plugging it on the top of the deck. It was supposed to hang underneath, right here. So I find the K sprue, and as soon as I see it, I realize what it is. It's the ship's bell. Well, as it turns out, there are two of them. So I'm going to paint both of them, but I won't be painting them gray. I'll be painting them probably the gold. And I'll clean these up later. There's no rush on it. They've attached the sprue to the I don't know what part of the bell you'd call it, the bottom of the bell, and it's going to be hard to get that off of there without accidentally getting it out of round. However, I guess you might say the good news is it's kind of hanging down out of sight. Well, maybe not. Anyway, I thought that was just kind of interesting. So we'll work on that later, not today. But we are basically all set up here now, so I think the next thing to do is, I've even got the air hooked up here. We'll just sort of recompose a little bit, and we'll try and zoom in on the rotator. As near as I can tell, all of these pieces will work well on the rotator, so I may as well take advantage of it. It does a nice even job, as long as I spray it properly. If I'm going to use the rotator, maybe I don't need this thing. Yeah, I'm just going to get it up out of the way here. There. Okay. Everything in this tin is painted already. So. Okay, I did shake this up in the paint shaker a few minutes ago. I've got my air pressure set to about, I'm guessing 15 pounds. And I'm hoping I haven't forgotten to do anything. This is already thinned from the last time, and it sounded pretty liquidy. Alright, let's try not to make a mess here. I'm trying to sample the paint more or less just under the surface, so I'm not going to be picking up sludge from the bottom. Okay, that's pretty much full there. Alright, seem to have a little bit of a leak going on. Oh, I see. My hose is coming loose. Alright. I lost my train of thought there when I heard that leak. Alright, now let's try and remember to do everything here so that you can see what's going to happen. We'll just give it a little quick test here. Looks good to me. Maybe I could decrease the pressure just a little bit. Well, I guess I can do the same thing by just not pulling the trigger all the way back, right? And the idea, of course, is to not saturate these things so that we lose the detail. Okay. Yeah, I think that's as close as we can get. Hey, it's not in focus. What happened? Okay, sorry about that. It's a good thing I checked the monitor. I'd have blown this whole scene here. And we'll get our rotator going. And we'll get our fan on. Well, you probably noticed the fan didn't go on. You know what? I pulled the plug out when I took the spray booth off of the table here. Just bear with me. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we're finally ready here. Okay, I'll get everything cleaned up here, and after this dries, yeah, it's only noon, so we probably have time to have a nice close look and see if we lost any detail. I don't think we did. I think I did pretty good this time. Maybe a tiny bit on the heavy side, but at least it's not going to need a second coat. Okay, there's been a bit of a change in plans here. I've just basically cleaned out the airbrush here, like for a color change. In other words, all I did was just back flush. I didn't disassemble the brush or anything, but I think I probably got 99% of the 66 out of it, and or more. And we've got our 19 in. And I thought, as long as I'm set up to spray, I can probably do a much better job on the splinter walls with the airbrush than I can with a paintbrush. And then we'll let it dry and mask it and so on, like I had mentioned earlier. Okay, let's see if we can zoom in, and hopefully I'm going to I'll be in focus this time. Not that it was the end of the world. I mean, we did figure it out, didn't we? Yeah, that looks alright. Okay, now if I can just keep it underneath this little red thing here, that I don't know if you can see the bottom of it or not. I mean, that's what that's there for. And all I want to do is just the splinter wall and maybe the bottom there. Guess I didn't need to write that G14 because this piece is obviously different than the other one, so I don't think we could put it on wrong. Well, probably I could. Okay, let's get our fan going and see what happens here. Okay, the first one, it wasn't spraying right, and the reason being is I'd forgot to turn the pressure back up. I turned the pressure down for when I was doing the back flushing, and it was probably only about 5 pounds or less. Actually, I was surprised it was spraying. I couldn't figure out why it just didn't seem to be right. I did have a little bit of a problem with spitting there. You may have noticed that. I don't know. It seemed to be doing the spitting thing even at the low pressure, and then when I had it up around 15 pounds, it was spitting. So, but it sprayed okay. I think I don't think I lost any detail on the platform there, and that was the main thing. Yeah, we'll check it out later. Well, I have just finished editing out everything you've seen up until right now. And I know I indicated that we'd take a close look, but we're going to have to take a close look after this is completely dry. And it looks like it's turning out okay. My slumping, I'm not noticing it. So I'm hoping that the shrinking will take care of that. Yeah, I'm going to call it quits for today. Yeah, all being well, we'll be seeing you in the next episode. And thanks for watching.